You want answers?
I think I'm entitled to.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We're blasting out of the bunker, zero dark 30, folks. Woo! I tell you, let's go over this, folks. No matter what happens, good days or bad days, hard days or easy days, fun days or sad days, it's always about the super elite making their bucks. It's just the way it is, folks, the way it's always been. Power and control, right? They want their money. They're going to get their pound of flesh and their pounds, francs, and dollars. Right? I remember as a kid reading this comic strip. It sucked, too. It was called Little Orphan Annie. Anyways, her protector was Daddy Warbucks. And I always thought, that's just Warbucks. Who makes bucks on a war, right? It was just a name that seemed appropriate, I guess. That's what this is about. It's about war at any cost. It's crazy. Anyways, let's get into it. What the hell's going on? They want this war to happen, folks, over in Ukraine. They want it to go to World War III. Russia is making some compelling moves, publicly showing and announcing their weapons. That they have AI drone technology. So, hey, the U.S. is not the only one, and China is not the only one capable of copying it. Right? It's out there. They're pushing for it. Let me give you a couple of examples of the hypocrisy and the bullshit, and you and I are going to pay for it, one way or another. One way or another. But before I do that, are you prepared? Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, what it takes so that you can get through the coming chaos? I sure hope so. Now, with regard to the hypocrisy and the moves by Daddy Warbucks, several U.S. members of Congress are not just pushing for more war. Oh, no. They're pushing for sending cluster bombs to Ukraine. Cluster bombs. Now, look, war is hell. I really think that, you use whatever you got to kill the enemy. That's the idea behind war, right? Blow things up, destroy shit, kill the enemy, win. But cluster bombs, I guess, have been looked at by many, many, many nations and the United Nations as an organization. And, they want to outlaw. I guess they're so awful, a cluster bomb. Very quickly, I saw a documentary on them probably 15 years ago, this cluster bomb technology. And they are just devastating the human flesh. It just doesn't kill you. They're awful, okay? But weapons of war are awful. Nuclear weapons used in World War II or atomic weapons are just awful. War is awful. War is hell. But these cluster bombs, countries have outlawed them or said they're not going to use them. They think they should be banned in war. I love it. Rules of war, right? In any event, some U.S. members of Congress are pushing so that the United States government sends cluster bombs over to Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine. They want him to have them and use them on Russia. They want them to use a weapon that is so devastating and so disgusting that even the UN wants to get rid of it. And many countries want to get rid of it. It's unbelievable in a lot of ways that they want to play these games. Is Russia going to step up and start using their cluster bombs? I mean, they're going after Putin, saying he's a war criminal for what he's done. War is hell. And these people want it for all of us, which is completely awful, terrible. Now, more on this hypocrisy on these war bucks, guys. Oh, yeah, sorry. I missed the whole bucks part of the war. Cluster bombs are incredibly expensive. They were expensive to develop, to figure out how do they work, how can they really kill the fuck out of people properly. Yeah, big bucks. I guess since they've run out of things to send over to Ukraine that were old and tired and needed to be rotated out of military stock, they're like, hey, well, let's just start sending cluster bombs so that our friends in the military industrial complex, so they can be granted new license and get new contracts for new explosives. That's how I kind of see this, is it's about the money. It's about sending more money over to their buddies. That's how I see it. It's about the dollars, folks. People are dying, shit is hitting the fan, economies are crapping, banks are failing, medical lawlessness is everywhere. Yeah, medical lawlessness. Now, let's just continue with this bucks thing. Dollars. Well, one of the biggest countries who are against Russia, talking all kinds of shit. We want to send jets over to Ukraine, and we want to send munitions, and we want to get in there and fight the Russians ourselves. Right? That's our good buddies in Poland. The Poles. They really want to fight. They hate the Russians. Did you know that? Oh, yeah. Well, guess what? All this shit talking by the Poles is a bunch of crap. They are still doing nearly 5 billion euros worth of business. That's roughly the same as dollars. Euros and dollars, roughly the same. But yeah, they're doing 5 billion euros worth of business with Russia still. Folks, Poland isn't the United States of America. Poland is a small country. You know, Poland is kind of like the state of Illinois, or less. No, they're not even as big as Illinois money-wise. Right? They've got the whole world to do business with. They've got China, Russia, United States, the rest of Europe, South America. Right? What are they doing, spending all that money and doing that much business with Russia? Especially since they, have called Putin awful, terrible, horrible, evil, whatever, war criminal. That's what the Poles are doing, folks. They're calling for war, money, and then they're trading with Russia, money. It makes me extremely suspicious that this is a 1984 style bullshit war. Let the evidence demonstrate what it really is. That it merely is a war to create tension and to create profit, to create change, right? To play into the Great Reset. This is all about war bucks, folks. They needed to raise the price on fuel. They needed to raise the price on food. They needed to make life harder for people. They need to scare people into compliance. They need to scare people into submitting, obeying. That's what it's always about, too. It's what it's always about. Are you prepared to see more of this? And this is what gets me about these congressmen that want to send these cluster bombs over. Do they know what a battlefield really looks like? Do they know what it's like? Have they experienced, someone trying to kill them? Have they huddled in a fighting hole while ordnance is raining down on their heads? Truly, are they? Are they experienced? Or do they just want the money? and they don't give a shit. Tell you what, I think it's the latter and not the former. You guys be cool. Get prepared. Share this message in others. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. December 5. God bless America.
At the tone, the time will be
0 dark 30.